Everybody. This is Dr. Rao. Uh, I was talking about habit yesterday. Hi, Santosh. Welcome.
Hi, Dr. Rao. Good morning. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Just we are the time as for the time, we are 10 a.m., nearly 10 a.m. in the morning of
Ah,
Thursday. So
okay. Yeah, it's 6 o'clock here. Yeah.
a little bit ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking about habit, uh, and I was bringing in some techniques that we could use to either get rid of the bad habits or form the better habits and really benefit from that too. So I was giving some perspectives from the ancient wisdom of how they describe the whole anatomy of the habit. How does it form? How does it stay? How it overwhelms us, and how we need to understand that to really get rid of any habit. Like I was talking about the smoking in my patients. For years, I have helped lots of my patients to quit smoking. Not with medications as such, but we used a little bit of it, but we got rid of that medication very quickly. But then we kind of used it sparingly, and but we got them on this behavior and this knowledge-based changes that they can employ, and that is the one. So I made a movie also. It has got two parts in it.
Wow.
Yeah, I made the first part to pin it there so anybody can see them. And we were kind of considering so many habits that we could cultivate, like being silent, being in the listening mode, being in the mode of giving, and maybe giving the benefit of doubt to others, and actually material things or heartful things giving, and also cultivating the sense of contentment, inner happiness, and being aware. Being aware is something very significant for me, which I kind of practice and I kind of preach in a way to my students. I invite them to come to my class in the morning, and at least for that 1 hour, be aware. Put away all the things, their plan and anything, but just be in touch with their own body, with their own reactions that the body goes through as we perform various asanas, breathings, and meditations, and all that. Thereby, they can establish themselves in the present moment and carry that as a perfume throughout their day, where they are more in the present, aware of what they are doing, more focused, and more quality of work and all that. And also not being in the psychological drama of yesterday or tomorrow, but really being in touch with what is relevant here, or existential reality of what is going on in everyday's life. That's not that easy, because the mind takes off to the memories, to things that happened and all that, and also it kind of projects into the future. So this is one thing. So this series, all about habits, I was doing from yesterday till Friday. I will do this. Today is the first video. I promised people who were here yesterday that I will bring those videos, because I was envisioned them yesterday, and today I kind of did them. Very proudly presenting the first part here. Uh,
Dr. Rao, when you talk about the habit, I love to share you some habits
yeah.
Because myself, how I quit smoking, because I never became a never heavy smoker. I always like a social smoker, right? But I want to tell you a very interesting story. Maybe it's connect with you.
Yeah.
I have been smoking from '98 when I first started to work in AC Nelson, or one of the largest research company in the world.
Uh-huh.
My job was to go to the airport airport, through one international airport in Kathmandu, and collect the data from the overseas foreigners are coming there. Why are you coming Nepal? How many? What's your second trip? This and that. That time we had to wait long time. Sometimes plane got delay and all. So we had a group of people, and one of my friend was smoker,
Uh-huh.
and we were waiting there. What to do? What to do? And then just I experienced smoking, and then I started to smoke, and sometime on and off, and still I was smoking a little bit here in Australia. But I
Mm.
want to bring back to 2019,
Mm.
just 4 years back. I have a flower business, and I have one guy was working with me from India, and he was a chain smoker. He's a South Indian guy, young
Uh,
guy,
uh,
but he always smoking. And I also inclined to smoke a little bit more. Like how was the thing? Was I go to the market, come back, coffee ready, and smoke ready on the table. I relax, enjoy smoking, right?
mm.
And then after it was going on for a couple of years, and the driver changed. Another
Mm.
driver come in, right? The guy also from Hyderabad, India, but he is a little bit intelligent. Like he never smoked. He always healthy, he storing book and all these things.
Uh,
And literally from that guy, I built the habit not to smoke. Number one, because he was not smoking. I was spending a couple of hours working together. Slowly reduce my smoking, and I start to build a good habit to start to read a book. And
mm.
I have been reading book earlier, but now the guy was reading a lot of books. He's very young, but he's reading a lot of books, and I learned some book from here and there. I start to read, this the Robin Sharma book, the Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, and all types of emotional intelligence book and all these things. Now I got a habit to read the book. Now I read a lot of books.
Mhm.
Not only that, I quit the smoking. So what I would say is habit is more connected with the environment where
Yeah.
you are at. And I can see, like, I go in the market to go get the flowers, everybody's smoking there because these guys never gonna leave the smoking because their whole surrounding bloody are smoking, right? They
Mm.
smokers, and they have break, they smoke and all these things. So, it's a surrounding and environment plays a very, very insignificant role. And another example I want to praise you, like earlier when I go to the party here and there in the friends, we had a
Yeah.
habit, we have a mindset that when you drink, you love to smoke a little bit, enjoy your fun. But now I never do that because that sort of habit is developed on me. And
Yeah.
now another habit developed with me. I'm trying to remove all the bad habits and getting new habits. The same thing happened in my sleeping habit. Like I used in the morning, 3 days, and 5:30 in the in all the, other day 8:30, 9:30. I was lying on the bed, and now I realized there was some problem, and then I started to think that I should be waking up in the same time, and
Yeah.
that's how I did. Like now, I changed all the bad habits. I do wake up at the same time every day, go to the bed same time because habit takes certain time. Like
Yeah.
you do the same thing again and again, regular basis, consistently, then you can change any habit. And on that basis, I have written one book now. It's not released, but I'm doing the final work on that habit loop, right?
Mm.
Definitely, I took help from the ChatGPT and AI tools, all these things, but I
Yeah.
incorporated my own experimental thing. What I did, habit loop, I have written that book is almost ready to go on Amazon, and I'm doing the final work on that. So the thing is, habit can be changed. What
Yes.
sort of bad habit you have, you can change. Anybody can change any habit anytime, but you need to do a small portion on regular basis and continue to do that. Then you can change your habit. That's what I would like to share. Thank you.
Yeah. The loop that you said, for that loop to, it has to start somewhere, and then it has to establish its own the root of the loop, and it is like a cyclical thing, right? It is reinforced by our behavior or by our being unaware of this loop is being formed, you know. So uh, usually the stimuli comes from the peers or family or culture or atmosphere. Absolutely right, you know. We pick up these things, and they, even as a child also we were told about getting up and brushing the teeth and eating the breakfast and going to the school, whatever, in the school, again paying attention to the teacher. Several habits we cultivate either because of the influence of our parents or because of atmosphere and all that. But many are also formed deliberately because you taste something, you like it, then you kind of want it back again. So, but then if you don't understand how this whole structure works, it's kind of think like I'm having this automatically, these stimuli come up, and then I'm responding to them very, very quickly, and I have no control over this, and I have no empowerment on this. That is the one I want to point out: is how can we empower ourselves of seeing how the habits are formed and knowing how to really understand what is deleterious habit, what is a good habit, and how can we sustain the habits that are good for us, and also how can we get rid of the habits that we are really paying price for. That kind of thing is very, very important. So the smokers, which I was using as an example yesterday, they were more like more of the smokers are really suffering with symptoms because they have been smoking for some years, usually 10 years, 20 years, like that, right? And then they are addicted to it. That means they can't withdraw it, they suffer. And but at the same time, they know that their disease is getting worse. It could be COPD, it could be cancer, whatever they have, or they are having repeated infections because the smoking takes away the cilia within your trachea, so it cannot really take out all the negative toxins that you have there from the smoking and dirt and all that. So they accumulate there and they give nidus for the bronchitis, and people really suffer from that. Okay, so I was helping them not only to get better from the disease, but also the psychological trauma that they were having. So understanding this thought mechanism, how it forms, how it takes over us, and all that is very important. This was there in yoga, that is the Patanjali yoga, which is Raja Yoga. They call it King of Yogas because it deals with your primary mind structure, mind inclinations, and so many things. Okay, after I kind of understood Patanjali, it was marvelous to really collaborate with the modern medicine, neuroscience, and put that in the functionality of Patanjali Yoga is very good. Actually, that is one of the good expositions on mind, that we could read and we could understand, and then we could bring them to our everyday life, whereby we can really have control over the habits and then come out of. Because right now, we are working in the realm of mind. But once you understand that mind is also nothing but bunch of thoughts, and there are our tools. The mind is itself is a tool of ours. Otherwise, we think mind is on its own, it comes and goes, and it has its own energy, and it's electric, it can go to corners of the world and come back. All those things are there. Then you helplessly feel like, oh, this impulse has come. That's kind of what happens with the drug addiction, too, right? Or psychological addiction. So many things are there. So I was kind of talking about this habit because many people who call me, they are entrenched in some habit that they acquired maybe subconsciously, unconsciously, and but then they allowed that to come back and reinforce itself by indulging in the behavior. Then you can replace it, like you were telling about reading the books. People can replace it with a good habit, but then withdrawal, suffering, all those things are there. And also, there is a fundamental thing about inner yoga means reshaping of your own personality, everything that you have developed, to reshape it in a way that is going to be a very empowering thing, the mind, not the really depleting your energy. Okay, so uh, once you discover that kind of empowerment, then you are not going to be influenced by the peers or by the culture, or because you know what is what, right? So that's what I'm getting at. There are very like I asked questions like silence. Why people are not silent? Why people don't even realize the silence is very important for the mind to recover itself. And also, silence itself gives you pause from the thoughts and then make you reconsider whatever you want to say or you want to do and all that. Okay. So that's a bit important thing in this information era. So if you are silent and then you think about things and you come with much more considered thought or evaluated thought and all that, which is good for the team. Or so like I'm in the meetings lots of times, what happens is all the doctors come and many of them I had to lead them because of the seniority whatever, but the experience and interest and all that. Not all but many committees, right? So one habit that I cultivated was let everybody speak. I may have the agenda, I may direct the meeting, but I don't want to give the essence of the meeting, the conclusions of the meeting ahead of everybody's opinion. So, kind of cultivating this rule of let me be silent and listen to everybody. And then at the end of it, I can compile everybody's sayings and conclusions, opinions, and I don't even have to write them anymore. I can remember what's the context, why they're talking about, and all that. And then I bring in everybody's sayings in a synopsis where I say, okay, this is the essence of what we all said, and let's take this from this person's suggestion, this person, all that, right? So we put together one particular resolution, and then present it to the committee, and they vote on that. Okay, many of the time because of this kind of let them speak first, let them be heard, and then we will announce whatever it is, and then the decision also is considered and not hasty, not exerting authority and all. It's a very democratic way that works very well in many meetings, at least with my experience. So you're listening, you are giving the other person the benefit of doubt, and you are giving in a way, and you are kind of secure psychologically inside. So you're not threatened by anybody else's assertion or saying it. If they are way off and wrong, they can point it out and maybe they will learn later. So all this happens because we are aware of our thought process, our emotions, and all that. We are watching them as a witness. Okay. So the purpose of these presentations, all about habit, is how can you understand what is habit? How does it form? How does it get entrenched in our mind? And then it takes its own life and looks like it is happening on its own. Most of these things happen like that. People are really they gain the habits without knowing, and they repeat them. And a good habit also can be cultivated once you understand this. Even neuroscience has these ingredient thoughts that form their own neural path, so they react neurologically very quickly if you repeat one habit again and again. We use that in the performance athletics or games or everywhere. We kind of help people to have visualization of what they are doing and make it a habit, and thereby they can really entrench that good habit, and then that gets much better. So your coordinated response is much better. Okay, that's what I wanted to present today. And yeah, yeah, I mean, there's so much details are there in the other tape also. I'm going to bring that in, where I'm going to talk about what are the qualities of the body, what are the qualities of mind, what are the qualities of the soul that we can understand and be formed by our habit, by our awareness of what's going on, and then really get benefited from that too. Take a look at that video, and if you have any questions, you can bring them to me tomorrow if you happen to come tomorrow. But otherwise, send me DM, whatever. People on the other channels, they are here. So I will. I will try to answer them if you send me the DMs, or you can come here and ask me to. Okay, Santosh, makes sense?
Makes sense. Maybe I can get some idea from your video that my book hasn't been finalized yet. Still I'm working on it, so maybe I
Sure,
can get some
sure.
idea from that to incorporate in my book in practical approach,
Yeah.
right? Because
You see,
habit is really 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 powerful, right?
yeah,
Because people are really suffering because of the habit, and a lot of people they have a bad habit and they have that mindset that they can't change their habit. Oh
yeah,
no, I can't change it. I'm doing for many years now.
yeah,
But they don't have that idea that if you really want to change, you can change it, right? For example, I have one florist. I don't want to tell the name. I better not. One lady, and she smoked a pack of cigarette
uh,
every day,
uh-huh,
a pack of cigarette every day, and she drink wine. I employ her, but every hour she's out for the smoke. So that's a habit. I can't do anything, right? But that is hampering my business. I know that, but still she's a good worker. She's working there. And the problem is, right, one pack of cigarette, it costs like $50 to $60 a day.
yeah,
That is the financial aspect, right? Another aspect is definitely that one pack of cigarette, how much damage creating or lungs, right? That's
mm,
another thing. And a lot of problem happening there, but she got that mindset that, like I enjoy my life, like, what I mean, like, sort
yeah,
of thing. So, you know, she and have that mindset that what she believe is, been smoking that many years. I'm not dying yet. I need to live into a life without smoking. I can survive. Let's smoke and that. But the thing is that it's not right, right?
yeah,
And some of the people have got bad habit. Like they say, I can't wake up before 8 o'clock. That's my habit. From the side, this habit. No, I can't change my habit. I'll go on that. But they don't understand the value when they wake up early in the morning, how fresh they get, how quick they can accomplish their job, how sharp their mind gonna be, and how can manage their a lot of work. They don't know because they have that, stereotype or type of thinking that habit cannot be changed because that's my it
yeah.
तो if I talk in Hindi तो मेरा जमाना से हो गया है habit
There is
चलेगा
a
चलेगा
there
चलेगा
is
it's going on.
yeah
Why
there
should I worry? Like
there is
it's okay.
something
So
about
yeah,
waking up in the morning. Many
yeah,
people I work with, they come, and because I do tell them how the body cycles work and how a morning person is more productive and all that. But you can make an intellectual decision like I'm going to wake up, but your
yeah.
body and your mind, they require special training on their own. Otherwise, they don't listen to you. It's like
Yeah, I
two
know. I
elephants.
know.
Yeah, two
Yeah,
elephants. They need training. Otherwise, they are too strong. They crush you. So what you need
yeah,
to do is, okay, you can make intellectual resolution, but understand body needs special training and mind also needs special training. That kind of training, if you give it, then they will obey that way. Otherwise they will not be obeying. Okay. Hi Nazli, welcome. So it's a kind of uh, this is talked about in yoga practice because many of my students are not able to get up early in the morning. Sometimes I do it at 6 o'clock in the morning, and for them, if somebody is in Canada, somebody is in California, the times kind of that is too early for them, but some people want that hour because I'm personally there and all that, right? So when they come in, they always complained in the beginning, but once they understood that you cannot really impose your will on the body just like that, but allow the body to go through the training for a while, then you will change. So for 21 days or so, they may have to be goaded or guided to wake up and all that. But then after they made a habit of that for the body and the mind, and they listen to you. That's a very common thing that I see: New Year resolution and weight reduction and really rising. All these are problems, and sometimes late night work. People are, in the companies where they have a lot of work on the computers, or these days on the social media. People spend late into the night about talking or listening to somebody, whatever, right? And then they kind of miss the sleep cycle because that is very carefully has to be nurtured. You cannot sacrifice the physiological cycle just like that and expect it to come back. But if you allow it to function regularly, that will function very well. But these days, many people are using stimulants like energy drinks, coffee, tea, or maybe some alcohol to depress, and all those things are there. And then nighttime parties, nighttime work, all these factors are there. So if you go to the bed at the same time every day, which is very, very difficult for lots of people who are actively working, and also if you get up in the morning, that becomes much more because this physiological cycles are there preserved. But these days, people don't even understand that cycles are there and they are completely lost touch with that. So train your body, train your mind. Like move the body as much as possible and keep the mind silent as much as possible. If you can do these things, then things will be much easier for you to observe and then do the stuff that you want to do. Yeah. Anyway, look at that tape, Santosh, and I am going to get the other video also. There's much more stuff in there. And talk about all the qualities of our thought structure and all that, I'll present that tomorrow. But today, asking the questions like, how can we cultivate the habit of silence? What are the benefits? How can we do active listening? What are the benefits? How can we give from our heart, not expecting anything in return? That's a good habit to do. And how can you give benefit of doubt to the other people? Or just having contentment and inner happiness and being aware and all that. Okay. And I will see you again tomorrow, Santosh. Okay, any other questions? Anything you want to say?
Thank you, Doctor. No, that's fine, Doctor. Like,
Yeah.
whatever you said now, that's really interesting because you know what? Like, I don't know. It's not intentionally I did, but I built up that listening habit from last 3 years.
Yeah.
When I started to come to Clubhouse and listening all the amazing, speakers. Like, I go to several other platform, Mindset Club, and all these things. There's Tony Robbins and Les Brown and all these things. I'm frequently, constantly, I'm listening. Then, so I already built up that habit to listening. So I found it's really, really interesting because when you talk, you are limited whatever the knowledge you have. But when you listen, you add value to yourself, right? So that's what I found. Like that's why I maneuvering myself.
Yeah.
Instead of talking, then listening more. I'm more on listening side, hours and hour listening these days, and it's adding a lot of value in my personal and my entrepreneurship journey. So that's what I would like to say. That's what listening, calm and all these things are very, very important. I realize I'm just learning that, Doctor. Thank you. I really appreciate you, and definitely I'll connect with you, and I'll get as much as I can learn from you, Doctor. Thank you.
I will see you tomorrow then.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor.
Okay.